We are not recording, or
Now
we are
we're
recording?
now.
Okay, because then we don't have a lot of irrelevant stuff at the beginning, which we have on all the other videos.
It could be pretty relevant because, like, watching Guy get his camera ready could be relevant in some fun way.
Well, now I had the camera ready all the way, so now it's okay.
Hello, Trond.
Hi. I don't have the camera for my laptop because it's docked, so I hope that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Sure.
Just as long as we know that's a photograph and not your camera turned on.
No, it's a photograph.
He's scared stiff. That's the point.
It's Trond the ventriloquist.
So, do we have Dexter here now?
No.
Is he on?
No,
He's not on.
he's not on. Are we supposed to wait for him, or?
Maybe if everybody shouts out Dexter at the same time, maybe he'll come. Like we shout out to the universe, 1, 2, 3, yeah. Dexter, come in, and then he'll come.
Let's see if you are strong enough to do it on your own. Exactly. Massaging your forehead is perfectly. That will make it happen. Well, Dexter is my favorite grow. He's not a shrink, so because it doesn't shrink people, he grows them. So it's my favorite grow. We don't wait. We'll just launch straight into this. I think this theme of this webinar was also Brian's. Was it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, Brian is a guy that comes up with all the webinar themes from now on. Unless somebody.
The next one is going to be who is Brian hidden in his wall behind him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
That's mother-in-law, obviously.
Correct.
You should have seen the face of the lady when we walked into this flower shop today. I said we are in dire need of a meat-eating plant. My mother-in-law is coming over, and the woman just dropped her jaw.
Nice.
So
So
the theme, Catherine, you
Yeah.
can repeat for all the people that have not followed this that closely.
So Brian's idea was the theme of when to push and when to let go.
Right. When to push and when to let go.
Or support.
Or support, yeah.
Or
I believe it was support.
Actually, yeah. Yeah.
Push or support.
When to push and when to support.
Support.
Yeah, I spent a full 90 seconds thinking about this in the bathtub before I came here. So I actually have some wise words related to this, I think, because at least during those 90 seconds, it sounded sort of wise in my head.
Okay, let's hear.
Yeah. Now, the obvious sort of lazy answer to this is that you will figure this out when you start helping people and coaching people full time for about 3 years or maybe 4 years or so, and then the dime will drop and you will figure out, so this is how much I can push, and this is when I should actually just support. But that would and then we end the webinar and that's it, right? But since we have already, Brendan and I at least, have been coaching people for a couple of tens of years, we can give at least some advice to shorten that 4-year period down to less than a year. Now, one thing is that in this, you will always sometimes, or during a year, during a set of coaching sessions, you will sometimes push too much, push too far, go step over the boundary, step over the line, right? But that's a good thing. Not necessarily for the person you push too much on, but it's good for you. It's good for you. And the reason why it's good for you is because if you never step across the line, you never know how far away from the line you are. You could be 2 millimeters away, you can be 2 kilometers away. So in order to understand when is pushing too much, you have to sometimes push too much. That's a lesson that one needs to learn. And then there is, sometimes it's wrong to push at all. And sometimes it is correct to push because people are sometimes not honest with themselves. And if they're not honest and you just support that dishonesty, then you can actually get the person into trouble. Or the person is sometimes dead wrong. He's just wrong. totally wrong in what he's attempting to do, like committing suicide or whatever. And Brendan and I are not the guys that sit down and the person says, oh, I want to commit suicide, and we just support that effort to commit suicide. We don't do that.
I've only done that once, actually.
You have done that once.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was that your uncle?
I'm not going to talk about it on the webinar, but I just
yeah. Okay. Yeah. We leave that for another. Yeah, but that was a special case though, and then that was valid, one can say. So that's fine. But
also,
then again,
standing on the edge of a cliff, deciding whether to push or support is also like a key factor here, right?
yeah, exactly. So, and I've had experiences with kids who are, adamant on trying to kill themselves, and I've actually gone to the point where I actually really push them hard as to what is your actual fucking purpose in life, and get them to see that and get them enlightened on that on their own terms, obviously. But then after having pushed, then support. So sometimes it's valid to push, sometimes it's not valid to push, sometimes it's valid to support, sometimes it's not valid to support. And we, during this webinar, I think we can explore this. When is it valid to do the one or the other? Because it's not a fast, short answer. You should always support, or you should always push, or these kind of things. Because supporting the wrong effort will get the person into wrong territory. So that's sort of that felt okay in my head when I was lying there.
I'll say something on top of that then. People that I've worked with, like one-on-one, if we meet at a cafe, and some people just usually start talking. Like sometimes people ask, like, how do you do coaching? It's like you just sit down with somebody and you don't say anything, and after a while they're going to get more uncomfortable than me, so they just start talking about something. And then I ask them, okay, so here's the deal. I can be like pretend to be a friend, and no matter what's in my head, I can just totally support you and say, oh, that sounds really hard, that sounds tough, and yeah, I don't know what you should do. I could be that type of friend. That would be like a 1, or I could be a 5, and the 5 would be really to pursue what I think that you should do. We try to figure out what type of person they want me to be. If they want me to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. And some people have asked me to be 5, where I tell them, I'm going to tell you exactly what I feel. This is definitely what you definitely would not hear this from your partner, from your husband, from your wife, from any of your friends. I'm going to go exactly what I think, maybe what a lot of your friends are thinking, but just don't say to you. So that's sort of what I do. I ask people how much of push or support they would like, and then I try to do that.
That's always a good thing, obviously, to sit down and actually ask the person, what do you want? What do you want support? Do you want push? What do you want? And maybe something in the middle, maybe first push, then support, or whatever, and talk about that, because that's something we do a lot, Bren. When we sit down it comes down to one-on-one or business meetings or whatever, we tend to just say what we think and ask the person what we, questions that pop up in our mind. We just say it right away. And people respond to that very easily.
But Brian?
Yes.
Where did this subject come from? Which direction were you pointing it in?
Well, I was thinking more or in the lines of when you are helping someone with either kids or at work. For example, with my daughter, she is all about horses, horse riding, that kind of stuff. And she wants to be more with the horses, do stuff. And then I support her in the way that I enable her to be more with horses and do stuff. And when she then commits to, for example, help a riding instructor, then I will push her to, take the bus, walk the 2-3 kilometers, and do what she has committed to. So I was thinking, support, and at work, if someone needs help in doing some specific task, I support them in the way that I enable them to do the task they want to do, and then I push them in the way that I say that I believe you can do this, and I will help them that way. So I think we are coming into it from different angles, but at the same time we are talking about the same thing, I guess.
Have you asked your daughter what she thinks you should do on if you should, as a father, if you should push more or support, and what support actually means and what push means for her?
No, I haven't asked her. No.
How old is she? How old is she?
She turned 9 now, a week or 2 ago. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The oldest
Well,
one. And then I have.
That's an age where you can sit down and talk to her about concepts, you know, push, support. What does that mean to you? When am I supportive, you think? When am I pushing? When am I pushing too much? And when I'm not supporting you enough? And just have that chat with her, because then she will give you the answer more than we can. But I would like to, I would like to address one thing you said at work, when to push and when to support. And since I've been in the recruitment business and have recruited thousands of people, I have something to say about that. Because if you find yourself being a manager of people or supporting people in some way in a work environment, if you feel you have to push a lot, you have the wrong people. If you need to push a lot, you have the wrong people. The ones you should recruit are people who don't need push. People who have their own push because they have their own passion, because they applied for the job that will give them what they want as to work tasks. So if somebody takes a job for the wrong reason, they might not be motivated and they need the push, but then they shouldn't have their job. They shouldn't be there. So you can't have one person on 5 people assigned the responsibility of pushing those people to do the work. That's just insane. That's just stupid. You can't take that off the bottom line. You should have self-motivated people who actually has passion enough to impress the shit out of you and everybody else, especially the customers. And they should be enabled. They should be supported, not pushed. If you get too much push, sack them.
So Guy used to be my boss. Sometimes I call him still boss. Okay, boss. And I've never had a boss that's pushed me as much as Guy has pushed me. But I've never had a person, probably anybody in my life that, apart from my parents, that has supported me as much as Guy, which is like really cool as well. So, and one of the situations I remember was when we were sitting outside of Ullevål and your mom had just died and Margrethe was being operated for a brain tumor. And life was just crazy. And you just gone through a divorce and you just sold the company and we just started a new company and everything was like just insane. And your telephone call and the question was, Guy, where are you? You're supposed to be on stage like 5 minutes ago. Where are you? And that we were sitting at the Ullevål Stadium and the presentation was at Hotel 33, which was like a 20-minute drive, but drive really fast and it's like 10-minute drive. So you just turned to me and said, Brendan, go deliver that presentation. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I just jumped in the car and that was like, I'll never forget it. I was like, I just jumped in the car and I forgot to ask what the presentation was on. Oh, here we have somebody joining. But I just jumped in the car and I started driving like really fast towards Hotel 33. And I realized, shit, I forgot to ask what the presentation was about because we were all over the place, like mentally. And I just ran into the hotel and it was like, I don't know, like 150, 200 people sitting there. And I just run up and somebody meets me and said, what the heck's going on? Where are you? I said, I'm coming. What am I going to talk about? I jumped up on the stage and I said, hang on a second. Everybody's looking at their watches and like I was breathing and like lots of those sounds. So I just shot at a glass of water and I delivered the presentation as best I could. But I also know that no matter what had happened, that I would have had like 100% support from Guy no matter what had happened. And that's like this really nice balance of things that happen. Is this Mr. Dexter that's joined? Somebody's joined on iPhone.
Yeah.
Someone. Okay, let's see who pops up. But I'm Brendan. I'm curious now because I never thought I pushed you, except for that specific instance. But what else? I'm totally.
No, but I didn't experience that as a push. But lots of people would have experienced like what, like, and I've told other people about that. It was like, wow, that's like crazy. That's insane. But we were just like all over the place, so it just sort of happened. But I mean, like most people would have taken that as a push. But you've been like, yeah, just go and do that, or go and do this, and go and fix that. You'll figure that out. Just fix it. So it's not pushes that I've felt like uncomfortable pushes. It's never been like really, really uncomfortable. It's been sometimes a little bit uncomfortable, but at the same time, it's like nobody could ever have been like, okay, you totally fucked up, and that's okay. So it's always knowing that was also the opposite. That's sort of like what the coolest thing about it was, I think.
Now this is interesting because I've never told anybody to do something that I didn't think they would be able to do, and you're the only person I would tell to go and do the presentation that I should have held 5 minutes ago on a subject you know nothing about initially. So that I don't think there is any other person I know that I can give that message to at all. Yeah.
I'll say something, because whenever I thought like quarter to 9 before we started this, I was like, what's this called again? Push and support. And one thing that jumped in my head was this idea of how much do we push ourselves and how much do we support ourselves? And this idea of push, like, and what does push really mean? And I think a lot of people are pushing themselves down way too much when they should be giving themselves a lot of support. And I say this a lot in presentations, that there's not a lot of people around us that really support us. There's really not. Like, everybody's like busy with their telephones and busy all over the place, that we don't get the amount of support around us that maybe we should. And then if that's true, then we got to be really careful about pushing us down, because there's not a lot of people around us that are lifting us back up again. And I said to Margaret, hey, what do you think about this? My wife just said to her, like, we push ourselves down a lot, right? And Margareta said, Brendan, you're like one of the few people I know that could just do something for like 100 days, no sugar for 100 days, just go to the sofa on day 99, just eat something with a load of sugar and say afterwards, yeah, that's okay, that's fine. It's like, and a lot of people would be like pushing themselves down and creating this bad conscience. And I think we need to make sure that we have these 5 people around us, that who are the 5 people that around me that give me support. And I think it's really nice not only to have them, but to be aware of those 5 people as well.
Yeah, this brings into view one of the things I saw maybe a couple of weeks ago. Somebody asked in another group, what is the most important, self-discipline or motivation? It's a really strange things to ask, because what is better, beef or strawberries? But the point is, when I said, if you have to push your employee a lot, it's probably the wrong person, or it is the wrong person. Now, the same goes for yourself. If you find yourself having to apply a lot of self-discipline, but you're on the wrong path.
That kind of depends what you put into the word push. When I think about pushing my colleagues or my kids or whatever, it's not pushing them to do something they don't want to do, but pushing them to do something they maybe don't think they are capable of, or not competent enough for, or that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's more giving them the confidence to actually do what they want to do, but maybe they don't believe that
I understand. Yeah, but that I understand. If it's a matter of they don't have the confidence you have, but that is what I put into the word support. Because supporting them to the point where they think they can do it, or sometimes pushing them, like I did with Brendan and the presentation you should do. Sometimes, if you believe they can actually do it, then push them. It's like, yeah, you can jump from the 10 meter. Come on, go do it, right? That's kind of push. But if you have to pester people, really hunt them down and measure them and have KPIs and figure and sit and have the hard talks with the employees and really say, now you got to fucking do it, otherwise you lose your job. If that kind of push is happening a lot, then you have the wrong person. And the same,
I agree to,
yeah. So it's a matter of what we put into the word push, basically. But if you have to apply a lot of self-discipline to do stuff in life, if it's not enough to have your passion, then you're not following your passion. Because if you have a lot of passion for something, I don't need to push myself with self-discipline to program, because I love programming. I just do it. There is no self-discipline involved. But if you have to do a lot of self-discipline, you should be really thinking strong and hard about, am I really doing the right thing here? because passion should be enough.
Or I think also, Brian, with your kids, that if you have to push a lot to the kids go to like doing with the horses or whatever, then maybe that's not that interesting for them. I don't know.
Oh, it's not that I have to push her to be in the stable and do stuff, but it is because it will be 2.5 first bus that she's never taken before, a long bus ride. I guess it's like half an hour or so, and then she will have to go 2.5 kilometers through places she's never been or are not comfortable in and don't know. And then I feel that I need to push her. I need to go with her, show her that it's not dangerous and blah, 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 so that she is able to end up where she wants to be, because she really wants to go to the stable, but she might not feel comfortable enough to take the bus ride, to walk the kilometers.
I think I also hearing like a lot of things Geir is saying here, because I think what I hear when you're explaining, you are supporting her by following her through and like showing her the way, and it's not dangerous and everything. But maybe I'm on my, what you feel, Geir?
Yeah, I feel Brian is very supportive here, and if that also includes taking the bus with her 3 times and then walking these 2-3 kilometers 3 times and saying to her, now you can do it on your own. Let's take the bus together, and then you walk the 2-3 kilometers alone. And next time you say, okay, do the bus, then the walking, and then it's not so much push, it's more support. It's more towards the support side, I would say. But if it's like you have to push someone to do the hard homework, well, most of the stuff we do in school is not motivated out of passion, which says a lot about how faulty our education system really is. Because passion should be enough. I mean, I was so passionate about mathematics and chemistry, etc. I blew myself up, as I said before, and I was so passionate about this that when I was at least 2 years older than your daughter, Brian, when I told my mother that the teacher at school said, I can't teach you anymore of this stuff regarding Einstein's relativity theory, you have to go to the university. And I said, okay, Mommy, where's the university? Can I get the money for the subway? And she said, yeah. And I just went to the subway, went all through the other side of the city, and went on to the university and started talking to people. Being a complete introvert, scared shitless about talking to people at all. But this was so passionate to me. I overcome any fear. Didn't matter. I didn't know where it was. I had no clue where these people were or who they were or what they would say or anything. So passion should be enough. But sometimes this support from a dad is important. But I don't see Brian pushing. I see Brian more very supportive.
I feel that we often revert back to the Norwegian school system. We should have a discussion regarding that.
And then a big shout out to the Montessori method. I mean, that's not Norwegian. This is the first female Italian doctor who founded this system, and the main core of that is, let's just support the kids in what they're interested in. Everything in Montessori is built around, like, just watch the kids. What are they interested in? Okay, give them more of that. And then the day that they're interested in mathematics, let's support that. But if they're not interested in mathematics, don't push them onto mathematics. You just end up with all of these Tetris blocks falling down and then not like maths. So watch the kids, find the interest, follow the interest. It's really nice.
And that works for work too. So I had this so many times that I hired the wrong people is because I have to push them a lot. I have to pester them, all these KPI things, all this follow this process kind of shit. All of that just makes for a lot of headache and more people managing people than they should.
So this is one question that pops up in my mind, because you two are coaching a lot of people. And so, as you say, Geir, there's a lot of employees that has to be pushed, that probably not in the job that's meant for them. But what the best advice you give them then, if they feel like the other way around, like they're not motivated to go to work, they have to be pushed to go to work or whatever. How do you coach them, or what do you say to them?
I'm gonna jump in here. I tell them they're gonna die, that they only have one chance at this life. That's what I tell them.
Yeah, but from my experience, more than 50% of the people who are employed in the wrong work. More than 50%. So most people I meet are in the wrong job. And therefore you have all these management pushes and methodologies and process stuff and measurements and all of this, because deep down we know that most people are wrongly positioned. So people don't follow their passion, and that's a problem, because people follow more what others think they should do, like mom, dad, whatever, or safety dictates what we should do, etc., rather than passion. So
well, we can give a really nice example here, because I met this girl like a while ago, and then she booked a meeting with me 2 weeks ago, and big shout out, she knows who she is. I hope she's going to watch this. And I met her, and she's a consultant and works in a huge consultancy company, and she starts talking about her passion. Oh, by the way, just on the side, she did a PhD in neurobiology and in neuroscience, like a PhD. But she's working in a consultancy company, but she has a passion to become a marine biologist. So should I support her? And in that, Brendan, I'm not sure, what should I do? Should I just keep my job at this consultancy company? I asked her, can I push you like crazy? Because, this is like, you've got one life, like do the dream, live the dream. You got no kids, and you're like a really smart girl, like go chase the passion. And then I said, you know what, I just told you exactly. So go and meet Geir. And Geir, you met her like 3 days ago.
Yeah, I did. And I pushed her like crazy on this one. But that is because I know that people should follow their passion. So if I push, it's because I push not for the sake of what I think should be the right answer, but for the sake of what people think should be the right answer. And that is push along the line that Brian is talking about, pushing her, the daughter to actually do the work to get to the stable. Now, I did the same thing here. I pushed her a lot regarding passion, because passion is the most important thing, I think. So, and I asked her, it's like, if you really follow your passion, what would that be? Probably would be blah, blah, blah. But what are you going to do? Well, I might just jump on to the safety side of the fence, and and I know that she will be much less happy and more miserable doing the safe choice in life rather than doing the passionate choice in life. Because all the people in history that we look up to, all the people like Einstein or Van Gogh or Rembrandt or Leonardo da Vinci or Mozart or Newton or
Jürgen Klopp.
Jürgen Klopp, yeah, and Jeanne d'Arc or Jesus, the historical person, or whatever. All these people, they are known because they follow their passion. All of them. It's very hard to find some outstanding person in history that was outstanding not following the person's passion. I guess there could be a few examples, but they are far between and few. So that is the history lesson, is if you want to have a fulfilling life, something that you are known for and that you will appreciate while you're living, then for God's sake, follow your passion.
Right, Brendan?
Yeah, I'm gonna like every week I throw in a practical tip. So today I'm gonna throw in a practical tip, and this goes back to my earlier point of pushing yourself or supporting yourself. So my practical tip is, everybody get pen and paper when you're watching this, and write down the 5 main sources of support for yourself that you get. So for me, it's Margrethe, it's my kids, it's books and podcasts, and always the 100-day challenge that I'm on. Those are like the 5 things that I know I get support. I get this energy and support me. My kids always support me. Margrethe supports me no matter what I do. I get a lot of big boosts from reading the books that I want to read, from listening to the podcasts I want to read. And then at the moment, I'm still jumping rope. That's like the one hobby that I think that's going to really support me. So I think that we got to be a lot better at supporting ourselves in whatever we do, and make sure that we're aware of these, like have your 5 main sources that you definitely know around that are going to support you.
Wow, that's interesting. I've never thought about 5 top things. Let me just try this exercise. Let me see what that is. It's writing, whenever I write, I get a lot of energy. And it's more than 5, goddammit. It's writing, it's programming, it's making music, it's making artwork. And then it's my kids, especially now when Nicholas is living here full time. It's Nicholas, because that's a lot of support in him. And then there is you, Brendan, who is an extreme support work-wise. And then there is astronomy, my telescope, looking at stuff, looking at things far away. This is a good thing. I mean, a practical example of not just push and support, has nothing to do with that. But if you want to do something for yourself to get yourself out of the daily stress and the problems you're in, look at the stars, go outside. If you have a telescope, if you have a little binocular or something, use that. But otherwise, just look at the stars and reflect on the distance to all the stars. Because most of the stars that we see in the heavens are like at least 100 light years away, which means it takes about 100 years from the light leaves that star until it hits us. And reflect on this. And the faintest object you can see on a really dark sky high up in the mountains with less light pollution around is the Andromeda galaxy, which is 2.4 million light years away. It's like the Milky Way, only very, very far away. It takes the light 2.4 million years go from there to here. And thinking about that will get you into the position of thinking, my problems are probably not that big compared to the universe and the stars and the galaxies, etc. So that's a good thing to reflect on. That's a practical example for me. But now you got more than 5 from me. I will try to, prioritize them down to 5 then.
I know, no, you got a bath. Like every time I call Geir on the phone, he's in the
bathtub.
bathtub.
That too. Yeah. But reading mathematics in the bathtub, that's a daily favorite, obviously. Yes. And chocolate. God damn it, chocolate. My existential philosophy is that if everything were to disappear from the universe, I want me to be the second last thing that disappears. I want chocolate to be the last thing, because I can't even envision an existence without chocolate. So.
Perfect.
Anytime we're going through the airport at Belgium, it's a guy he just always runs off. Just one second. He goes into this chocolate shop.
Yeah. Obviously. It's a needed thing. Yeah.
Yes. So I feel like we're spinning off a little bit here, and I think that the stars was a great finish of this session. Now we'll be talking for 31 minutes. So for people to follow through and listen in on us, I think we should finish up now.
What will we talk about next time?
Sorry, I didn't hear it.
Next time. What are we going to talk about the next week?
Wow.
That must have been a question for Brian, wasn't it?
Who?
No, but I mean, anybody can nominate something that we take up in the next webinar. That is for sure in the group. They just go in and just post something. Can you talk about this? And when you post, Catherine, the next webinar, they can also comment underneath there and say, I would like you guys to take up this subject or discuss this subject, or yeah.
Great.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out, and it will come out quite soon, I think.
Stop recording.
Stop recording.
Has it stopped?